you're going to need a fork and a knife. This is Deep Dishing Sports with Bruce and Eli.
All right, let's talk about some Bears.
Well,
let's go to the next Chicago team.
Let's go to the next Chicago team that gives us so much hope.
Oh, man.
The Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Because, we rank the Chicago Bears pretty much almost dead last in every single offensive category. Anywhere from like 29th to 32nd. And there's been a lot of talk going on Bears Twitter, on media, whatever, about this offense. And I mean, this is something that we've been talking about all season too, but yeah, this has been the worst Bears offense in quite some time. And yes, I am also referring to those 2017 Bears, those John Fox Bears, the Mike Glennon, Mitch Trubisky rookie year Bears. That offense was better than this one, statistically.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Slightly better, not a whole lot better, but they were still better than our offense this year. So it's about as bad as it's gotten for quite some time for the Chicago Bears and their offense. But yeah, I mean, there's been talk going around that Matt Nagy needs to give up play calling duties. Now, the question that I think, at least the debate on Bears Twitter, is it Matt Nagy's play calling duties, or is it the fact that we just don't have the talent? And me and you have been going back and forth on this for quite some time.
Right.
And I have come to the conclusion, okay? I've come to the conclusion that it is undoubtedly both. Okay?
Okay.
We're both right in this situation. But here's my thing.
Right.
Here's my thing. When it comes down to execution, and that's something that you've been harping on for the past couple of years, Bruce.
Right.
Execution. Execution isn't always talent. Execution isn't always talent. Just because you're not executing a play well doesn't mean that the players that you have trying to execute the play are not talented. It could very well mean as well that you're just not teaching correctly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Because when you think of a football play, all 11 guys have to do their job, right?
Facts.
It's almost like a choreographed dance.
Okay. I'm a good dancer.
Everyone...
Yep.
Well, we're going to need to see proof of that here soon.
Man. Say less.
But when you're thinking of an offensive play, especially the complicated, cute plays that Matt Nagy likes to run,
right?
Everyone has to do their job. Every single person has to do their job. And
that's true.
There are just plays that I've seen broken down that just make it look like these guys just don't know what they're doing. Flat out. Like, they just don't know their assignments. They sometimes don't know the play. They just, like, it's mental errors that's going on in this offense, and that just makes it seem, at least from, you know, a bird's eye from where we're looking at it, that it's coaching and not necessarily play calling, because Matt Nagy might have the right play call in terms of what the defense is showing him,
right? But
it's just not executed. And I look at, man, did you see that game? Who was playing? It was like their fourth string quarterback or something. Was it No, it wasn't Miami. Trying to think, was it Dallas? I don't know. It was one of these teams that they're playing their third or fourth quarterback, and they were putting up points.
Yeah.
They were actually scoring. It's just a matter of fact that they you know, whoever their offensive coordinator was is actually, you know, teaching them these plays.
Right.
And
right.
I saw a tweet by Louis Riddick, a guy that, you know, we've been clamoring to be a GM.
Yeah.
But he said something along the lines of, like, pretty much what I said. Like, talent can take you so far, of course, but if you're not teaching these plays how they're supposed to be taught, then it doesn't matter how much talent you have. You can have a Pro Bowl offensive line. They may not execute the play well. So, yeah, I mean, it comes down to execution. But is there a fix in your eyes for this offense this season?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, look, man, you hit it on the head. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this offense. and you know me, I said it's the players. I've said it's the coach. I said it's the talent, the execution, you know, attention to detail. But, you know, like one of our Facebook Live people, Sarashi, said, like, what's going to be the excuse next year? Like, we said the same thing last year. We said the same thing the year before last. Like, it's always an excuse for this offense. Like, why can't we get it right? So I'm just at a point where if it's coaching, if it's quarterback, if it's whoever it is, it's just about time for we have to get this right moving forward. There's a window with this defense that we're wasting. We're wasting, man. And you know, and I talk about this, and I know we're talking about the offense, but I talk about this with the defense, is that everybody's like, oh, well, the defense needs to do this, and how can they let up, you know, this play? And I'm just like, man, like, what else do you want this defense to do? They're literally out on the field. I mean, you look up 3 and out, but we expect you know, it's sad when we need the defense to score touchdowns for us. You talked about this. Yep. And the reason why, you know, 2 years ago was so magical was for the simple fact that the defense was scoring. Like, you take away the touchdowns that the defense had.
We're looking at 2019.
We're looking at 2019. We're looking literally 3 straight years of the same thing under Matt Nagy.
Yep.
So now I'm just at a point where it's go time. Like, what do we need to do to fix this? Because I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the I mean, I put blame on everybody. The GM, and we talked about this. I put blame on the GM because he drafted this player or this offensive line. I put blame on Nagy. I put blame on Trubisky. Blame just goes on everybody. Blame goes on me. Because they got me stressed out. I told you that a couple of weeks ago. Like, I had to take a step back, bro.
Yeah.
I had to take a step back from this football team because, man, like, these dudes drive me crazy when you keep seeing the same thing week in and week out. And I told you, I said, no disrespect to the Tennessee Titans. They have a great football team, great running back. I love Mike Vrabel as a coach. But that defense, I mean, that defense wasn't elite. That was not an elite defense. And I know we was facing, like, I know our offensive line, you know, what they gave us a call to come out and play on the offensive line. Like, they had nobody, and I get that. But you wasn't facing a defense that should have held you to how many points did they score last week?
7.
Up until like the last couple of minutes of the game where they, you know, they played prevent. You know what I'm saying? Like, that defense shouldn't have done that, man.
Yeah.
That defense should not have done that. So I'm just at a point where I look, if that's your suggestion, bro, I'm rolling with it. Cause I don't know what else. What else there is to say moving forward with this offense.
Yeah, I mean, it just
got me heated.
It's so frustrating. Like, it really is, because it's like almost everything that they struggle at just points to coaching, because You look at how they are after a bye week. You look at how they are after a half. The Bears have only scored in the third quarter once all season. We scored 7 points coming out of the half all season.
All season, bro.
You look at some of the plays that have happened after timeouts. After the Bears have called a timeout offensively.
Yeah.
And it's just like it points to me, at least, to coaching. Now, Dan Orlovsky he's a former quarterback. He's now like a Twitter, person. He breaks down film. He does all these kind of things. He went off about the Bears and Matt Nagy, and what he said made a lot of sense. Have you seen this?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna play it here. The editing video, Eli, will play the actual clip.
It's very important for everyone to understand. There's a big difference between being a coach and being a teacher. A coach that cannot teach is a failure. A coach that doesn't know how to build relationships with their players is a failure. A coach that doesn't know how to communicate with their players is a failure. A coach that cannot adapt or change their scheme to the type of talent that they have is a failure. And right now, Matt Nagy in Chicago is a failure. He can't do any of that stuff in Chicago. Stop. This is the offense that you wanted to run. This is the offense that you wanted to run from Kansas City. It's not working. You don't know how to adjust to the talent that you have. I said it all the time on Chicago radio last year. Fit your offense to Mitchell Trubisky. Well, you didn't want to. So you went and got Nick Foles. And now you don't have an offense that will work for Nick Foles. This is like a marriage. When you try to change your spouse to exactly what you want, it's going to end up bad. And you're trying to change all your players to exactly what you want, because it's the only thing that you know in Chicago. And now this is headed for a divorce. Matt Nagy as a coach in the NFL is a failure because he can't teach.
Interesting. He started preaching.
Bro, that was a sermon right there.
Man. Jesus, I was about to pass the collection plate in a minute. Everybody put your money for Dan Orlovsky.
But man, it made so much sense.
So much sense. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. That's good.
That's analogy of marriage and, trying to make your spouse into something that it's not, so it's not going to work. I mean, that's perfect. But yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense that Matt Nagy, for 3 years, has been trying to run something that just does not fit the player personnel that is on the team. Now, granted, I'm not excusing Ryan Pace, because he deserves just as much blame as Matt Nagy, because he has completely either neglected this offense year, one of these years, or he just got bad talent. Like Adam Shaheen, it goes on, like the players that he's brought in, besides obviously Allen Robinson. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like Matt Nagy, his stubbornness is what has kind of encompassed him as a not just head coach, because I do think he's a good head coach. Granted, head coach, offensive coordinator, two different things. Think he's a good head coach, but as an offensive coach, as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller, as an offensive teacher, I just think the dude is so damn stubborn, so damn hard-headed. That he refuses to be like, okay, I have a really bad offensive line. Let's game plan around that. Okay, I have a statue of a quarterback who's really good at reading a defense, but he has absolutely no mobility. Let's game plan around that. Hey, I have a really, really, really fast wide receiver in Darnell Mooney. Let's run some more plays for him. Hey, I have a really young tight end in Cole Kmet that we just drafted in the second round, who is way faster than Jimmy Graham. Let's run those bubble screens with him, maybe, instead of Jimmy Graham. It's just stuff like that I'm just... It really confuses me, boggles my mind, frustrates me, because we see it week in and week out. Week in and week out.
Yeah. Well, we got some comments in the
Lay it on them.
people that's watching Facebook is on Facebook Live. Vic, he makes a good point. He said, it all started, when you traded up for that trash QB when Watson was right there. Yep, we've definitely heard that over the years. Samuel said, beating Tom Brady and the Bucks might be the last highlight of the year. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. We got a lot of people that agree with the clip you just played as well. And then we got some people that just said LeBron sucks. So that's I don't understand. We talking about football, but
no. You bring up LeBron every chance you can. So
they said if Jordan was on the Bears. You know what? I'm not doing this with you all on Facebook Live right now. We're not going to do this.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, but man, you make a good point. And now we have Minnesota coming into town, and they're hot, and they have the best running back in the league. In my opinion, Dalvin Cook is a monster, and you're gonna have to score points in order to win the game. I don't care if it is the Minnesota Vikings that. How many games have Minnesota won? 3 this year?
Yeah, they're 3-5.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. Bears offense is going to have to score points, so we'll see.
Yeah, so, to segue, that was a nice segue, Bruce. To next week's game, or this week's game, Monday Night Football, prime time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you would have told me in that Titans game that we held Derrick Henry to the amount of yards that we held him to, I think he had a little over 3 yards per carry, 60-something yards. I mean, he didn't have a good day. Mm-hmm. If you would have told me that we held him to that and we held the offense to only 17 points, I would have told you that was a Bears dub. I would have been like, yeah, we won that game.
Yep.
They scored 24 points because they had that defensive fumble recovery touchdown. But yeah, I would have told you that we win that game. But of course, in order to win a football game, Eli, you have to score points, guys. You don't just have to stop people from scoring points, because you can stop someone from scoring points the entire game. If you don't score any points, the game ends in a 0-0 tie. So you have to score points, and that is just something that I have absolutely no confidence in the Bears doing. I don't care what team they're going up against. And listen, this is the part of the schedule that me and Bruce, we've been saying all year, just looks really easy. We've been saying this is where we're going to make the playoffs. This is where we're going to maybe jump ahead of the Packers in the division.
Oh man.
Because the only really tough team that we have to play is the Packers twice.
Yep.
But with how this Bears offense looks, none of these teams, I mean, none of them scare me, but also none of them I can be like, yep, that's a dub. Yep, that's a dub.
Exactly.
I can't say that. I'm not confident enough to say that with this team, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
With being that we started 5-1.
Yeah.
But
now here we are.
Here we are at 5-4 after being 5-1. I want to ask you this question before we kind of close it off with our ending segment. First question. Well, no, I'm just going to ask you this question. If the Bears have a complete meltdown and miss the playoffs, they end at 8-8 or less, are you thinking of firing Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, or both of them?
Both gotta go.
Oh, they have to.
Both. Yeah, they gotta go, man. They have to go. I'm sorry, bro. And then we back to square one. Where we gotta wait for a number of years to get the right pick. And at that point, I'm gonna just start rooting for the Miami Dolphins. I'm gonna become a Dolphins fan. I'm gonna go buy a dolphin and just have it swim in my backyard. That's what I'm gonna do. Cause I'm tired, man. Look, bro, I'm not getting no younger. I am not getting no younger. So they're gonna have to make some decisions. And I just think that if they, after starting off 5-1, if they end up not making the playoffs with this schedule, I'm done. I'm done, bro. I'm done. I'm putting up all my Bears stuff. I'll root for the Bears, but I'm not gonna be excited about it.
Okay, so you're saying playoff or bust for both Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. You have to make the playoffs in order to keep your job next year. That's what you're saying.
No doubt. Got to.
Interesting. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree, because if you don't, here's the thing: if you fire Ryan Pace, you keep Matt Nagy. Mm-hmm. First off, that's a really weird thing to do, to fire your GM and keep the coach that the GM hired, who's an obvious part of your problem. That doesn't make sense to me. But if you were to do that, you're now bringing in a new GM. Your coach kind of has the upper hand in that, being that he's been here for 3 years more. And you're expecting Matt Nagy to, again, just kind of change everything and have faith that he'll let go of the stubbornness that he's had for the past 3 years that doesn't look like he'll let go. Right. If you fire Matt Nagy but keep Ryan Pace, you're entrusting Ryan Pace now to completely rehaul this offense, in which he hasn't been able to do. You're entrusting him to draft your next quarterback, because we all agree that we have to draft a quarterback in this draft, right? Like that's a must, right?
Yeah.
This year. Okay. So now you're entrusting him, who, by the way, drafted Mitch Trubisky. You're entrusting that guy to draft another potential franchise quarterback.
Right.
So yeah, I completely agree. If they completely whiff this season, especially with this schedule, you have to fire both of them. You got to clean house at that point.
Got to.
Which is crazy. It's crazy to think that just 2 years ago, Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
How fast the NFL just turns on its head. It just tells you,
right?
Hey, this might have been a fluke, guys. This might have been a fluke, and we were preaching for 2 years straight that it was not a fluke. We just had to get back to it. It's frustrating.
Oh man, yeah, bro. Yeah,
sorry, not to stress you out, B, but
it's just
it sucks.
It sucks, man.